Yeah, I don't know why I put on my seatbelt.
Hopefully the house doesn't catch on fire.
Right. Three, two. Welcome to the iRacers Lounge. I am your host, Mike Ellis. iRacers Lounge is a podcast for the iRacer where we talk all things iRacing in a casual setting. Joining me are the usual characters, David Hall.
I am marked safe and dry from Bathurst because I didn't run it.
All right, Greg Hectus.
Oh, just another day here in Canada and a wintry day. What's up, everybody?
Welcome, Brad Wren.
Hey, everyone.
All right, Donnie Spiker.
Afternoon, folks.
And William Westbrook.
Good evening, everybody.
On today's show, we cover the ongoing rain debate in iRacing. See which Coke Series driver cashed in at Vegas. Yeah, crash might be been a better word. See how you can earn the iTested award. Look into a new program to help you manage your team races. Find out what your sim rig is worth and why would AI stewards be a problem.
That's right, Mike. And remember that you can follow along with us on your PC or your mobile device in real time as you listen to the show and see for yourself all of the great topics and products we'll discuss by visiting iRacersLounge.com. Select the show notes. We hope to see you there.
Well, the first question is, why don't we need AI stewards? And what we have is a report that a COD player, or COD, I guess as it's normally called, received a ban for 24,488 days after breaking chat rules. This would be Jacob Klime's wet dream. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll beep his name out.
Whoops.
But yeah, this would be our certain person's wet dream. He'd be like, yes. Of course, then it would leave him without a job. All right. Just like the AI is changing today's economy. So what do you guys think? This is apparently an automated system that'll have him banned until 2092.
I'm thinking the Call of Duty programmers know the end of time, and that's as far as the suspension is going to go. Is 2092.
So wait, so they have AI will automatically ban you in Call of Duty for certain words you say, apparently?
Yeah, they use the AI moderation system.
Yeah, it's AI automation. I'm not sure it's true AI in the real sense of the word. But games like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft, they have this. The problem with these systems is they can be gamed by mass reports. So if you piss somebody off, they can get bots to just mass report you, and it triggers these systems. A little bit different, I think, than AI stewarding. This is more like a chat thing, but I don't know. It's all of it to me is still a long way from being able to be used like we want it to be.
Well, Activision has not yet commented, but it probably is like what you said. It was either a system got gamed, or it's just the system hallucinated at some point, like the large language models tend to do. And what it is with AI right now is they basically are just basing everything and every one of their decisions off of a whole matrix of relationships between words, and don't have an embodied sense of reality, essentially. So they can just make decisions that defy common sense, and they can't see that that this defies common sense.
So it sounds like we've already got AI stewards.
Well, I don't know. They're kind of jumping back and forth between iRacing and NASCAR.
Do we need something like this? And is this the future in iRacing, though, where, the stewards have AI assistants with simple stuff like language?
Assistance would not be a bad idea as long as you still have the ability to put it in front of a human when need be.
You talking about for the protest system?
Automatic protest if you say certain words, right?
Just make sure your life's in order by 2092.
What other automated protesting could happen with an AI besides language? Language would be pretty easy, I would think. But, what about unsafe rejoin?
Well, that'd be nice. Maybe some restart abuse of some type, lagging back, jumping restarts.
Yeah, jumping starts, accident at fault. I mean, people want to use it for everything, but like I said, we're just so far away from it. I don't want to see it anytime soon.
Well, I wonder if the AI would make a decision on this one, because this is definitely one of the most egregious intentional wreckings I have ever seen. Posted by Ethan O'Viney, or the Viney Puddles 28 on X. And if you watch it, the 17 car, unhappy with somebody, decides to pull up in front of the entire pack and stop on the track.
Yeah, he said this is by far the worst thing I've seen in all the races I've done on iRacing the last few days. What is he seeing? That this is obviously the worst, but man, he must see a lot.
It's Daytona, and the guy was on the grass, and he, like you said, he just pulled right up into the track right as the pack was coming by and just destroyed everybody.
It's hard to tell if this is hosted or official, but there's a couple cars further back in the field that have matching paint schemes. Maybe a league of some sort. But he's got a sponsor on the side of the car. That's pretty familiar.
Well, if you look at the replies on the tweet or the post on X, it's got the guy's name. So,
And you have to be careful about this stuff, because one of the rules that you can get protested for is calling somebody out, right, by name. And so when you post a video like this, you want to make sure you're not doing that, right?
I don't think you can get protested for calling him out by name off of the service.
Yeah, the person who posted the video posted a screenshot of the fella's name, but the next one down asked if that was Kevin LePage or not. That's kind of funny.
wrong end of the track.
All right, William, tell us about the jump scare.
Yeah, this is at Rainy Bathurst. Garrett Maines is going down into, I forget what turn that is, the sharp left right before the finish line. And there comes a car, just sliding through the track. Obviously, it looks like what I did at Daytona when I tried to go into the pits. Just locks the wheels and goes along for a ride. Luckily, it didn't take Garrett out in the process.
Just a moment later, and he would have been toast, right?
Yep.
Or a moment earlier. There's a lot of rain Bathurst stuff going on this week, and so this was just a touch of what people are seeing during that race.
And that's a good transition into the next topic, which is a post by Michael Mocklin that says, "We're not on iRacing, we're on iBoating." And one of our friend podcasts got into a deep discussion on this, and we're going to have probably the same deep discussion that all but one of the special events this year already have been in the rain. And they programmed these. This is not just set on some percentage. They kind of set they pick what percentage, and then there's I don't know if the timeline is programmed as well, or if it's generated from the basic percentage that they pick. But there's been a lot of rain, and at Bathurst it was extreme, and so there's a lot of very upset people, and I'm glad I didn't run it in this case. I think the bigger problem is not just picking rain for every special event. The bigger problem is that it's raining in amounts that you would not be allowed to go on the track.
Right. Red flag. Like, that's what I've been seeing in the forums this week is, the rain is so much, there's so much volume of it that a normal scenario would be red flagged. And so it either needs to be dialed back because we don't have red flags. We can't have that much rain. It's called I-boating. Now, there was this is just one of the forum posts. There were several of them that were even a bit darker, people demanding, iRacing remove rain from special events until this is addressed, and this anger and pitchforks, and people very upset. Now, I tried to look at all the different forum posts, the replies and the comments, and I think it's about 50-50 because there's people that just loved what happened at Bathurst in the rain. The hardcore racer guys that don't mind it. It puts that element of strategy in there. Another guy said like every single car in this race has had a meatball because of the rain situation. So I would say it was 50-50.
I don't see how it really could be. And if you're whether you're a hardcore racer or not, you don't want it to have to be raining or racing in unrealistic conditions. If the whole point is to make it more real and more immersive, why are we racing in conditions that a real steward would not let you out? So you do really need to either lighten the rain up or start simulating long cautions and have the whole freaking field drive around for an hour. Or cut some of the time off the clock and say, hey, that was a red flag, and skip forward. That the problem with that is you end up jacking up schedules. If people are planning on racing and suddenly the race only takes 11 hours to run. So I don't know if you could do that, but would you really stick around and drive for an hour under a yellow flag condition?
But do we have to have rain in every special event?
That is a separate issue, and no, we shouldn't.
So
Yeah.
if the average rainfall from 2012 to 2021 is 2.25 inches for this particular area, what was the rain like for this event? Would it accumulate more than that?
Oh yeah, based on what I've read, it was a deluge most of the 12 hours.
So this is for all of February from 2012 to 2021. Their average is 2.25. So I don't get rain here, so I don't even know what an inch of rain looks like. But maybe they could, if it's in an area where they don't experience a lot of rain, maybe not provide so much rain.
But see, that's the whole thing with Tempest was it's supposed to look at, I guess, somewhat historical data or of the areas of where it's at. Now, of course, if it's the middle of winter, you can't simulate snow, but it's supposed to look at what the historical weather is and go off of that. But again, I bring up Daytona. Daytona is a perfect example. We had a 20-some% chance of rain, and the early split perfectly dry. The next split, 12, 13 hours of rain. Yeah, I mean, it's too much, and that's the problem. Again, I don't have an issue with there being a chance of rain, but when you spend half the race in rain, or like what happened here, where you're literally driving in standing water, it's just it's not fun. And you can look at the participation across the board. Every single week that there's rain at any track, participation is down. Because again, it's not like you get light rain. 9 times out of 10, you're out running in standing water, which is just not realistic.
Well, I think I think iRacing heard this this week though in the forums from, like I said, 50% of the people roughly were saying it was just out of control.
And it's a simple expression that I like to live by. Too much of anything is bad. Okay? You actually drink too much water and your nervous system can stop working. Too much of anything is bad. So we're not going to talk about that anymore because that might be just too much. How about that transition? Where do you stack up, Brad?
Yes, we got a post here on X from Eternal Racing. It says, we've officially created a Discord bot for all of you iRacers that want to know where you stack up on all of iRacing. So you can you can go there, join the Discord, and I guess you put in your member ID and it'll show you. I have not done this yet. But I guess it'll rank you in all classes or all licenses, I guess, against everybody.
Yeah, I like it. It shows the global position, your ranking, and what percentage you are out of all iRacers as far as ranking. They're adding up your iRatings from the different genres to a total iRating and then comparing that to everybody. So it's kind of a neat little comparison. I think you do have to install a bot on your Discord server for this to work.
Yeah, bots don't sound good.
Yeah, I'd rather just go to a website. That seems like a lot of trouble for that info it gives.
All right, well, let's talk some numbers from Bat Harris-Donnie.
Yes, sir. Despite all the rain, there were over 10,000 driver entries across 77 splits of the iRacing Bathurst 12-hour special event. That's a post from iRacing to Twitter. The community completed 759,000 laps, almost 760,000 at Mount Panorama, and drove for a combined 30,865 hours.
It was 24,000, I think, on the Daytona race, and now we're at 10. But
tough track.
Yeah, and look, nobody on our team competed, and so that kind of explains the 24 to 10. Is not everyone's going to run Bathurst. It's hard.
Well, it's a tough track, and I know the rain. Just the threat of rain kept a lot of people away. I know 2 of us didn't do it because of the rain. So.
Oh, I mean, you saw the forecast, and it was like absolutely not touching that.
Yep.
I still hadn't gotten my pedal back yet, so I can throw a little update on that. The sim coaches had it fixed literally a few hours after they received it in the mail and had it back in UPS the same day, and it was supposed to get to me Friday. But we had a snowstorm, and UPS has the worst service when it comes to snow, apparently, and it took them till Tuesday to get here. So even though I saw FedEx trucks and U.S. mail trucks running everywhere on Saturday. So I would prefer to never send anything or receive anything by UPS again. But I do have the pedal back, and it's working great now. They replaced a lot of the pieces that weren't even bad. And what he showed me a video of where the bearings were locking up, and that's that's the little flaw that they found, and they're fixing it. So it is still great customer service, even though they did find a design flaw that probably just shows up for me first or close to first because I put in a lot of laps usually, right? So if it's going to wear out, I'm going to wear it out. All right. This next one is pretty funny, and if Matt Malone spends enough time streaming, that he's going to have some funny things happen. He got a slowdown, and it ended up being several hundreds of seconds, right?
114.
Yeah. And did he edit the video, or did it instantly black flag him too?
I think it did that because he went in the pits without serving it.
Oh, so if you go into the pits and you still have a slowdown, you'll get
a stop and hold. Yep.
Okay.
Ask me how I know.
I was wondering how he got the black flag so fast, because it ended up being really long too. Wasn't it like 4 minutes?
4 minutes. Yeah, it's pretty thing.
Now, wait a minute. There's no off track that should be 114 seconds. None.
Yeah, if this is an official race, I'm pretty pissed.
Yeah, it was
Right.
probably a glitch, and that was on Monza combined, right?
It is Monza.
Okay. Yeah, it probably has something to do with that configuration. Just glitch something out.
So
Okay.
if you send this to iRacing support or whoever you have to, you're not going to get any of your rating back, I imagine.
No, but I mean, if you're running a lot of races, one race is a glitch. It's a blip. It's a single raindrop, not a monsoon. Everything's going to be in terms of rain today, right? We're just going to make all of our analogies in that theme. Pretty funny though. I want to run a race at that layout again. I haven't. That's a fun little layout. It's pretty neat when you're half a lap ahead of somebody and you're driving right beside them, because on part of the home stretch you're on one side of the divider, kind of like driving on the freeway. You never run it, Brad?
No, I don't think I've ever run it.
Yeah, it's a combination of the road course and the oval part. Okay, so part of the when you're on the oval part, you're on, I don't remember which because it's been so long, but when you're running the oval track, you're coming out on one side of the front stretch, and there's a divider, and you can see the other cars running beside you that are heading towards turn one.
That's what confused me, because you kept saying he went in the pits. I'm like, he's not in the pits. I'm really struggling trying to figure out. I'm like, that's Monza. I don't recognize that.
That might have been something that he done too, is jumped the barrier and went from one part of the track to the other. That could have been what happened. All right. Raise your hand if you have watched the top 10 highlights.
That's funny. Because I didn't know. We put the video on here, but I didn't watch it.
I flipped through a few of them. I mean, it's some of the normal stuff. We got the mix of, late models, stock cars, open wheels, prototypes, kind of some of the normal stuff, close finishes, wheel-to-wheel battles. These are kind of neat to look at, but again, there's usually a common theme in most of them.
Well, there's one clip for the Lotus 49, and reminds me that, man, that's a pretty crazy car. It's like an engine on wheels, basically.
I remember running that in Grand Prix Legends. Is when that came out. They were a handful then.
And your head bobbing above the monocoque.
Totally safe, right?
Yes, that's why during that time period, F1 was losing multiple drivers a weekend sometimes.
All right, this next one is interesting. Apparently, there's a new track being built in the U.S. that includes some 18-degree banking. Is it a road course, though?
Yeah, Flat Rock Motorsports Park is in East Tennessee. They're building it, and it actually has an 18-degree banked turn. There's a picture of it being, paved. You can see the banking. Pretty cool. From what I understand, this is going to be one of those club tracks where you have to have a membership to come out and race. We have one of these here near Phoenix, Arizona. I think, Donnie, you have one over there in Southern California too, where it's not an official track where series goes and races. It's more like club racing or club days.
Doesn't IndyCar run a race at basically a club track?
Yeah,
They have, yeah.
Thermal in the Palm Springs area.
I'd like to see the Ozark track get scanned.
Yeah, so there's an aerial view on the link to the tweet that we shared, but there's link there to a news article with video. It's old. It's from 22, but they actually have, I'm guessing it's probably a set of Corsa or something, but they had looks like they had the track made virtually, and you can actually see a few glimpses of someone trying to drive around it. So it looks interesting. Multiple layouts and And I looking at the news article, I think they were supposed to have a karting track open by 23, but I don't know if that ever happened or not.
The banking on a road course is unusual, isn't it? I mean, we don't see that. We saw it. We just talked about Monza, and obviously there's banking there on certain configurations, but other than that, I don't know if I know of any.
You got, excuse me, Zolder, but yeah, it's not very common.
In fact, a lot of road courses, they increase the level of difficulty by intentionally making it off at camber, where it actually banks away from the turn.
Well, why do we talk? We brought this track up, because I like the banking. But man, do we need those type of tracks in iRacing, like the one the Indy cars went to? Do we need that? Do we have a need to scan those kind of tracks? Maybe when we run out of tracks.
I'm not sure. They have Willow Springs on now, and that's technically like a test track or a weekend warrior type of track.
Is Indy still running that track? I don't keep up with Indy.
They will this year, second race of the year.
Well, I mean, again, if you're going to try to do the Indy schedule, you've got the Indy license. I guess why wouldn't you?
All right, well, let's move on to some of the pro events. We have Keister winning big at Vegas. Tell us a little bit about it, Mike.
Yep, Colin Keister breaks through for his second win after, I don't know, hundreds of starts. It's been a while. But, wow, Vegas was interesting. Packed up 3, 4, and sometimes 5 wide. The 5 wide usually didn't work, and they would wreck. 4 would work, but not for very long. But whenever they tried 5, it was a wreck for sure. But I always throw out, were you entertained? I mean, this is the package that NASCAR has given us.
I watched it just for the intent to try to see if they were going to have 2 back-to-back cautions so they would do the single file restart, but I didn't see it. So they'd wad them up, and then they'd be good for 4 laps so that they wouldn't end up doing a single file restart.
Yeah, mission accomplished, I guess, with the change. More of a deterrent necessarily than just a change.
But I mean, it was interesting. It came down towards the finish. Donovan Strauss and Parker White kind of had the lead. Parker had gotten it and had kind of run out a little bit, but Colin and a few other cars, I guess about 15 on back, had taken tires. And I mean, it's Vegas, so you're going to get the benefit of tires. And they just ran him down. I mean, and then once Colin got by, I mean, it was lights out at that point. You're sitting duck when you're sitting on old tires.
There's some good replay videos in these Twitter links of the ending of the race, as well as the one below from Blake McCandless. It shows his onboard camera of him getting involved in one of these 4 and 5 wide wrecks. And I love seeing stuff like this. I mean, the look on his face is priceless as he's in the middle of that, and they're saying, 1 low, too high, 1 low, too high, and he's holding his breath. He finally gets wrecked. He's trying to save it. He gets plowed against, pinballed against these other cars, and the car doesn't spin out. And he's able to keep driving. But this gives you a kind of a look at what's happening in this kind of event.
I'm watching the replay, and it looks like he just turns left across the nose of that purple car behind him. I mean, where was he going?
Exactly. It's a lot of these, they just ran out of room. You're like 3, 4 wide, and they're trying to get down to 3, and one car doesn't quite fit, and then they wreck.
I don't know. Standards look a little off.
It's the Coke Series, the best drivers in the world. Remember that.
What is top split?
That's what we had. That's why we had to implement a single file restart, because these are the best drivers in the world.
What will top split NIS look like at Vegas?
I don't think it'll be this aggressive. I mean, I don't think so. I don't think so.
The one thing you've got is instead of it being just the one race and having the win and you're in, that's what changes the nature of the racing. The win and you're in, as well as it's only once. Whereas with NIS, if you have a bad race, you can come back on Thursday or Friday, etc. Right?
Looks like he's in 15th place when he makes that left turn.
Then we got the penalty report. During the race at Vegas, Connor Euroshok committed a lane change violation on lap 84 coming to 85, resulting in a penalty for the next race at Interlagos. Drivers are not allowed to change lanes on a restart before the start-finish line.
So is this at the very end of the race and they just didn't catch it in time?
I don't know.
Because in regular NASCAR, they'll just put you to the back then. In real life.
And then as you scroll down on the incident report, they do track how many incident points each driver has gotten this season. And they have a list of per track and a running total.
Yeah, and if you remember from last year, I don't remember what the total is, but if you end up exceeding it, I think it was one of the guys got set out last year. If I remember correctly, one of the RFK racers had to sit out a race because he had exceeded the limit.
Yep.
I like that idea.
Well, they're trying to clean it up, obviously, with these type of penalties.
You got to have some kind of stewardship, especially online when there's no way to self-police, right? You can't be Ross Chastain telling Carson Hocevar how it is.
Well,
that's
why, to me, if this is going to be the pinnacle of oval sim racing, then it needs to be live stewards, and they just need to go ahead and officiate it the way you would officiate a regular race, whether it be a black flag or stop and go. I mean, that's just all the way it ought to be. Some of the craziness where they don't get yellows when in real world they would, but we all know how that is. You spin, you could have 4 cars that spin off the corner, and if all 4 of them end up going to the end, off the apron, you won't get a yellow. So I don't know. I get frustrated sometimes watching the races when, it doesn't really, I don't know.
All right, we have, Donnie, a league we can talk about called the Prodigy Racing League.
Yeah, Racing Prodigy via their Twitter announced that they are thrilled to announce Racing Prodigy has partnered with MAV TV to launch a new broadcast series, Prodigy Racing League. Watch the premiere of Prodigy Racing League on MAV TV Sunday, March 2nd, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So I'm trying to read through. I went to their YouTube to watch their little trailer they have, but further, the tweet says, go inside the action, be behind the scenes of the world's first gaming to real racing league, where 30 gamers from around the globe battle through 10 intense rounds for team and driver championships in the inaugural Prodigy 3 championship.
Amazing that they got a TV broadcast partner. I mean, very cool. This is, the Prodigy thing where they're taking real people and putting them in a radical at, Road Atlanta or whatever they do. It's so cool. And then to put it on television, for the general public to see, this is a good thing.
It almost looks like there is iRacing in there from at least the trailer. And there might be a couple other sims they might use.
Yeah, so they, like with iRacing, they'll do time attacks to qualify people down. Then they usually run through I think like 10 races or whatever it is, just to kind of whittle it down. They've done different cars over the last couple of years, but guys end up with a shot to then go and then compete. For I think you end up with basically a sponsored, either a year sponsored or something.
All right, so we had a patch recently, right? And one of the things that they brought in was a vehicle telemetry update. And what I gather is this is a way to opt in to allow your telemetry to be anonymously used for quality control, I guess, essentially.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
kind
Go
of
ahead.
vague on what this was actually measuring, additional telemetry wise. I didn't ever find that in the forums, but I think to opt in, all you gotta do is just join the F. This week it's F4 at Lime Rock. Just join the race, and it's doing it during that session.
Yeah, it is vague, and it does indicate this is a separate telemetry than the existing telemetry. That's unaffected. The way I kind of look at it is maybe this is some kind of new telemetry system that they're trialing. Because
Well, they say
the
they
very
say
next
they're-
post, David, is the eye tested event that William's referencing. And so these two things are tied together.
Yeah, but they say that it's going to be used to power future improvements. So I think it's just going to give them an additional stream of data as they're working on whether it be balance of power or just it's just going to give them more information to make adjustments that they may want to make on anything.
All right. And do you guys have the eye tested award? I believe I got it already.
No.
Yeah, I got it from that the test they did at Charlotte Roval a season or two ago, testing the new manufacturer and
Splitting,
iRating
yeah.
split. Yeah.
Algorithm.
If you do this, just be mindful. It is ranked. It is official. So I saw some people on the forums or Reddit or something were surprised they lost quite a bit of safety rating at the end of their race.
All right, go get it, guys.
All right. Well, another thing directly related to the iRacing service, we have a new community coordinator post. Does that mean is this a new post for Greg, or is he leaving the community coordinator post?
I don't know. It looks like he's hiring a community coordinator, David. I don't know if that's what he currently is. That's not his current role, but yeah, they're hiring a specific person, the iRacing community coordinator. And it's much the job description is pretty much what you would guess. You're the community coordinator. You're looking at social media, monitoring day-to-day community feedback in a variety of channels with open dialogue and understanding within the sub-communities.
Well, that's what Greg does. So he's either bringing on help or he's moving to a different role.
Well, he's director of operations. I mean, he gets on the forums, but they're hiring for a community manager. I mean,
Okay, well, he's been effectively the community manager then. That's been part of his. He's been the voice of iRacing just about in the forums for quite a while.
Yeah, so he's probably getting a delegate, somebody he can delegate the stuff to, so he can do other things. Be my guess, because they are growing. So, is this needed? I don't know. Probably. I mean, he does a good job, but do we need more help? Probably.
I mean, can he get our displeasure with the rain to the right people? If so, hire him.
There's a lot.
I'm probably not the right person for that position.
I nominate Brad.
No.
All right, well, let's talk Sim Gaming Expo. Don't have any new news from Jorge yet. However, we're working on finalizing what we're going to put in our booth. We talked a little bit about it before the show, and we'll be doing the episode there as well. We may be doing it in their booth, or we may do it right there live in around our roundtables. We'll kind of see how that plays out as we continue to plan. I don't have any new information on any vendors as of yet.
Yeah, just kind of waiting for tickets and all that stuff to go on sale before we start booking hotel rooms and flights.
And we will be working on getting a discount code for our listeners for your tickets to the expo. So we need as many of you guys to get there as we can for not only for our 500th episode, but just to make this thing a success and kind of prove our value to the expo as bringing engagement.
Yeah, and I'm already planning stuff. We're gonna have giveaways and different things. So more to come on that later.
All right, next, Donnie, let's talk about Toyota Gazoo Racing Cup.
Yeah, the Toyota Gazoo Racing Cup North America Esports. Page isn't loading, sorry. North American GR Cup Esports League, managed and operated by SRO America, the GR Cup Esports League is designed to mirror the intensity and excitement of the real-life Toyota GR Cup Series. When does that start? I'm trying to look for the calendar. Looks like qualifying for the Cup E-Leagues will take place February 24th through March 3rd, so it's currently going on, through the Time Attack feature on iRacing. At Sonoma Raceway and VIR.
Yeah, and the season runs March 22nd at Sonoma, and then it's every month up through October. It looks like they're kind of spread out. So you have to do the Time Attack, and I do believe you have to sign up on their website at grcupseries.com.
Yeah, March will be Sonoma, April is Coda, May Sebring, July is Virginia, and then so on as they progress through the year.
I think this was somebody posted this on our Discord, didn't they, Mike?
Yeah, one of the listeners put this up, said we haven't talked about it, so we thought we should throw it up.
Interesting. So everybody owns the Toyota. Everybody owns this vehicle, so everybody has an opportunity to compete in this.
I haven't tried it yet, but I think one of our community races, we should try that at some kind of awkward course.
Yeah, just not Coda.
You don't want to do Coda West with the GR8? It might be actually kind of fun.
I'll pass.
Look, you compare this car to the BMW M2. I don't know. The BMW is a lot funner to drive than this one, but.
Well, since you mentioned Coda, that's where NIS week is this week. Brad, what else is going on this week?
So we got the return of the IndyCar iRacing series. They will be taking to the track at Sebring this week. So it starts week 1 of 16. The Dirt Super Late Model Tour will be at Hussets Speedway, and Sprint Car is at Volusia. The Wheelie Modified Tour, that's the year long there, will be at Hickory Motor Speedway. Mike's M2 is racing at Summit Point Raceway, FIA F4. All the normal Rainmaster, Ringmeister, and all that. The eNASCAR Coke Series, as we already discussed, was at Las Vegas. And off this week will be the Porsche Tag Heuer, and the eNASCAR College iRacing Series is off as well.
Okay, podcast housekeeping. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform to make it easier for more listeners to find the podcast. Mention the podcast to your fellow drivers so they don't miss out. We would appreciate it. Get involved in that discussion over on the Discord. William, you've been over there keeping the discussion going. Force feedback software and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, guys, come hang out on Discord. I try to be active if I notice people talking. I'm in a lot of Discord, so sorry if I don't see your message immediately, but yeah, we'd love to talk to the community over there.
Yeah, it's ongoing, so get involved. You can get the show notes at iRacersLounge.com. We are in regular rotation at the Performance Motorsports Network. Get your merchandise at the iRacersLounge.shop.
All right, let's talk some fantasy.
All right, so the iRacers Lounge rolled into Atlanta Motor Speedway this week. Team Duan took the win with 192 points, followed by Canadian Mike Ellis in third. Look at that. And then
It's been a long time.
Have you been changing your rosters every week, or are you just letting that ride?
I let it ride. I didn't change nothing going into this week.
Jeez.
It's going to work for Coda.
Well, what difference was there really between the two, right?
Well,
it was two plate tracks.
Yeah, but I was good till everybody I had picked got wrecked out.
Yeah, it was good till Kyle Larson showed up.
He was trying really hard.
He was.
Yes, he was. So glad to see the drafting tracks in the review from an iRacing standpoint, but Atlanta was a good race.
Yeah, these first 2 weeks, I just picked folks I'm not going to use later. So they were the folks that were decent at the drafting tracks, but I know they're not going to do nothing later on. So I don't want to waste a pick on them.
Well, unfortunately, another week of caution controversy as usual. NASCAR, has a way of open mouth, insert foot, and chew vigorously.
Yeah. At the big speedways, the really big tracks, when the pack is basically right on top of each other, if you have an incident on the last lap and you can see that everybody is already past the lap before you even have a chance to throw the caution, and he's already passed the wreck, I can understand letting them run, and even sending if they're far enough away from the start finish line that the pack's not going to come on. I could see it being justified letting the other guys continue to run. Problem with Atlanta is there's a whole lot less space, right? Miles shorter, and also there's actually a little bit of spread outness. So once there's a spin, there's going to be somebody else coming towards that spin, even on the last lap. You can't swallow the flag in that situation.
Initially, I was like, damn it, here we go again. I did see a couple replays, and I was like, all right, that one's not too bad. What drives me most crazy, this didn't happen, is when they throw the caution with like a couple 100 feet left. That part bothers me. I just envision some guy in the booth is jumping over another guy in the booth saying, Gary, hit the button. That drives me nuts.
But think about this, though. If you're looking at the wreck, do you really need to take the time? Well, how close are they to the line? Let me look back over here. All right, now the guy that's calling the caution doesn't need to be looking how close they are to the line at all.
Average perception reaction time is about 1.5 seconds. So who knows who's
Look,
at what?
I'm a little bit more jaded with this. We need to do Doge on NASCAR. We need to cut people. We need to. The guy who's making these calls is Jusan Hamilton. He needs to go. Okay, he needs to go. It's time for somebody else to push the button. When David Hoots was pushing the button, we never had these discussions.
No, we just had debris cautions.
Well, it was a different problem then, but we still didn't have these bullshit calls at the end of the race and all these different things that happened with the towing and at the end of last year and all the different, clown efforts that NASCAR has done from the booth. It's time to clean house and put some new folks in there.
I just think we need to bring Hoots back. That's all there is to it.
Right. What's wrong with David Hoots? Let's bring him back. Look, it doesn't need to be him, but it needs to be somebody else. I'm tired of Jusan Hamilton. He needs to go.
It's honestly every week. It's kind of embarrassing. As a professional sporting entity, it's like hard to take serious at times.
Well, it's let's lick the finger, stick it in the air, and see how things are reporting on the social medias. They screwed up at Daytona in the 2125s. They should let that go. So then they overreact the next race. Then they overreact the next race. I mean, it's just a flip and a flop and a flip and a flop. And again, look, I have no issue with them throwing the yellow Atlanta. That needed to be thrown. The problem is there's no consistency ever with NASCAR. It's the most inconsistent officiating of any professional sport, and that's the frustrating point, because as someone who loves NASCAR, it makes us look like a bunch of idiots. That's the problem. We look stupid.
I'm calling it. We'll get rid of that guy.
All right, so coming out of Atlanta, 2 races in. Let's take a quick look at the overall league standings. We've got Team Dewan in the lead with 375, followed by Boats and Hose, Resdog, Canadian, and AJL14. So a lot of similar names to what we had last year. So make sure that you're signed up and make sure you're setting your rosters. Don't be like Mike and just let it sit there for the whole year.
Who's on your roster right now, Mike? Without looking.
He doesn't know.
I actually brought it up because I wasn't sure who was on it. It was Bubba Wallace, Diddy Hamlin, Joey Logano, AJ Allmendinger, Ryan Blaney.
Go ahead and keep that roster for this weekend.
Well, actually, if he keeps the roster, he'll use all of his. He'll use them up at a certain time. Then he won't get any points.
But that's how I usually roll. I'll use up these until I have to pick different people, and then I'll pick different people. And
All right. So last week we were rolling into before we ran out of time, a bunch of different AI race data analyzers. And the first one I took a look at, I wish I'd refreshed my memory, but race data AI will actually look at your telemetry. And I guess it'll make recommendations and such, or it'll at least highlight differences between your lap and a comparison lap. Or find places where you might be losing time. I do remember checking the prices, and at least for now, for like a single user, you can actually use it for free, but you can only store a certain number of stints with the free package. And then if you really want to end up taking it super seriously, you probably want to go for one of the pay packages.
yeah,
Yes. So
website is racedata.ai.
yeah, so the free looks like it's just basic telemetry, like you can get with VRS or whatever service you prefer, Garage 61, whatever. The AI features are hidden behind that $12 a month package, and they're not currently available yet. It says coming in March, so I don't know what that's actually going to look at like.
More to come then.
All right, I think we have some more of those later, but we're jumbled up in the order a little. So this is another one of those extreme motion rigs, Driven Dynamics motion platform. And I see it's way up in the air. And is that just 4 pistons, though?
Big ones, too.
Yeah, actually, most of the big airborne ones like that run off of just 3. So this is actually a little bit more involved, isn't
I
it?
think it's 5.
Is it? Oh, yeah. This is so Driven Dynamics. This is a new product for them. This is a pre-production model. But yeah, it looks pretty intense. It's like way off the ground. It looks like it goes up and down and all around, and you name it.
It's actually 6 shocks.
You see a 6th one in there?
Yeah, it's
3 on each side.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah. I mean, you got 2 in the very front, and then you got really kind of 1 in the middle. I mean, 2 in the middle and then 2 in the back. I don't know. It almost just looks too much to me.
I'm reading the brochure currently. Not in there anywhere is a step stool. Also, any takers on the price.
That's Podium 1. So, I mean, they put out some great stuff, but it's always got a price tag attached to it. So you can only imagine.
$185.
Yeah.
What?
$185. That's cheap.
I could run for quite a few years at the local short track for that.
Yep.
So I've always
You
been
could get a
curious
hypercar for just about that price, couldn't you?
with this particular setup mounted to that rig and the keyboard tray. I'm looking at the brochure, and it looks like a data pad off to the left. Eventually, that shit's got to start getting loose and wobbling everywhere. I imagine you're gonna have to pay like a maintenance person to come and tighten that crap up every week.
If you just spent $185,000, I don't think you're worried about paying somebody to come tighten a screw.
Or you need to save a little money somewhere, so you tighten the screws up yourself.
It looks fun. I need to see the step stool, and it just seems like a lot of work. My anxiety would be pegged owning this thing.
Well, I hope to hell they bring this thing to the Sim Expo, man.
Yeah, I'd love to try something like this. I did find a video on their website at drivendynamics.com, and this thing, it goes up and down and all around, and it's full true 6 DOF motion. The one thing that scares me, Donnie, is those 27-inch monitors. I mean, they're mounted well, but you can see them shaking. It's like you're going to have to get new monitors every couple of years or something. They're going to fall apart.
You're going to load Rallycross into it, and it's just going to boot you right out of it. They're like, no thanks.
Can you imagine the 4x4 trucks? All right, the next item I'm going to throw to Donnie because I know he's looking at dashes right now, or DDUs as you call them.
Yeah, it looks like Sim.Dash to Facebook posted looks like a rendering of their DDU. It says, put some color in your life with SD6 S68. And it's a 3D render. It's a DDU. Looks like all the other ones I've seen so far for the most part. It looks like it possibly might be aluminum for the housing. Comes with the back mounting like most of them have. Center port looks like USB-C, and the switch on the right.
That's really good texture for a render. I think those are actual
It
pictures.
specifically says it's not a 3D render.
I'll read that part. Yeah, they look good. Looks like a DDU.
Yeah, so I looked at these before I bought mine. Sim.Dash is out of Portugal. Guy does great work.
I like that brushed metallic look. If you look at the close-in picture, I do that on a lot of my cars, actually.
Yeah, these look fantastic. So again, anybody that's looking for a DDU, one of the things I would suggest is make sure you get one that has a switch that's easily accessible. You want to be able to turn them off if you need to. You can set SimHub to actually turn them off for you, but it is nice to be able to actually shut it down itself. So these are nice, but coming out of Portugal, you're going to pay a little bit more for shipping and stuff like that. But he does really nice work.
What is the size of that screen?
That's probably should be a 5-inch.
It does look nice.
I just like the simplicity of it, to be honest. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just, I'll use the word sleek.
Yeah, no, that's yeah. I mean, there's not a, I don't know. Sometimes I'm somewhat of a minimalist. I don't like things to be over, So yes, it's very.
It's not thick.
It's very neat.
Yeah, it's not thick. I don't like them thick either. So.
Thailandia.
All right, this next one looks really interesting as something we might eventually want to invest in. We currently use that Sassy Enduro spreadsheet, right, when we're planning team races. And it's got some really nice features, but it's glitchy. What we have here is iPredictor. And at a glance, it basically looks like an endurance team planning software.
Yeah, lots of features too. He shows screenshots of the software. Plan your race for individual or team events. Online platform. There's no software to install.
Yeah, this looks good. I think we run quite a few enduros here, and sometimes it gets a little tricky, especially like for Daytona. I think we had 5 guys on the team, and when you try to sit down and start figuring out stints and get everything to work and then whatnot, this looks really neat. You're right, David. I like that spreadsheet that we use, but it is a bit buggy because I got caught with that at Daytona and then ended up having to like on the second or third stint, I'm like, oh my gosh, the times are all off. And then I had to try to figure out what was wrong.
Yeah, it'll do some weird things like sometimes it'll just jump from AM to PM, or especially if you're putting in the times that you end and you put in the wrong AM or PM, it will really get confused.
Yeah, we lost like 2 hours after the second stint. And I was like, wait a second, where did the 2 hours go? And it just threw the whole day off until I finally figured out what was wrong. But yeah, I had put the wrong end time in, and it cascades from that point on.
Well, Greg, Tom, and I are running Monza for the Mech series this weekend. I may, even though it's pretty easy to plan just a 4-hour race, I may just use that to test this. We also have Sebring coming up in a month.
Yeah, it says currently it's free during beta. Everything is free. I guess as it progresses, I'm going to create an account with this tonight just to take a look at it as well. It looks like individual and team members will be free, and then if team managers will be $50 a month. So I'm not exactly sure what that entail. The team manager looks like individual race strategy, personal race data management, basic performance tracking, team management, and unlimited seats.
Did you say 5-0 or 15?
50 a month for the team manager. Individual and
That's
team
pretty
member
steep.
could be free. But right now it's all free during beta.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's actually decided on the final price yet.
I wouldn't spend 50 a month.
I don't think it'd be 50 because I don't think he'll have that many people taking him up on that.
No, I don't think so. I'll make another spreadsheet.
Yep. It's a beautifully designed website though. I did sign up for it and just kind of mess around with it. It looks very good. There's got a lot of features. Not all of them are active yet, but I mean, this is gonna be great. I'm also gonna use it for the next race we do. That's more than 2 hours and kind of see how it goes. I mean, he's already got. I guess he's got the API to the iRacing website because all the races are in there. You can pick, IMSA endurance week, whatever, and it automatically fills it in. So you just got to input your drivers, their average lap time, and their fuel consumption, and then it do it all for you. It's really cool. I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Too bad there wasn't a third-party site that you can view all of your lifetime iRacing stats on.
You mean like the member site?
Yeah, that one.
That would be a first party, not third party.
Well, I'll take a third party at this point.
All right. 3D printing the most immersive sim rig yet. This is a video. Let's talk about this one, Brad.
Yeah, this was from Third Wheel exclusive. So he kind of details a little bit. Buys a 3D printer and then starts to basically build button box, dash, console, and everything. So yeah, it's pretty neat. It's I don't know. I've seen I don't know. I've seen quite a few 3D printers, and I start to think about, man, what could I do? But then I would probably just I ended up making stuff that I don't need. But this guy was definitely dedicated, and it's pretty neat. The stuff he's come up with.
This is definitely something one of our team members, Kyle, should check out because he's got a 3D printing business.
I was just thinking that, like, could you, get all these parts that this guy's designed and make them where anybody can print their own dash, so to speak, or console.
There's lots of sites out there that have the whatever the 3D file is or whatnot. I mean, like I came across one and sent it to Kyle, and he printed the stuff for me and then shipped it to me. I mean, he charged me for it, which was fine. But I mean, 3D printing is getting it's really interesting, and I mean, the filaments that you can use are very strong. I mean, on the NASCAR side, I mean, a lot of the parts on the next gen are 3D printed, and I mean they print them in house. So from air ducts to different stuff, it's pretty interesting, and it's neat how I guess how widespread 3D printing has become.
Well, I'm going to nerd out on you a little bit on the space side. There is a company that is actually designing a fully 100% 3D printed rocket. Not just parts, like the shell, the tanks, everything. So it's definitely on its way.
Yeah, not sure I'd be ready to get on that.
All right. We actually had a little bit of a drought of the wheels, didn't we? And now here they come again. I kind of like the look of this one, though. I guess this is trying to be more of a GT style wheel than Formula One. But it's posted from a place in Monaco. It looks like it's the Arnage.
The Arnage. We've seen it before, but it's nice to take another look at this. This is the wheel with the vertical DDU, which is its signature. It's not horizontal, it's vertical.
And that's more space efficient, I think. I actually think it's a good design.
It's unique. And so when I saw the Arnage on social media, I'm like, yeah, we need to take another look at that.
290 millimeters. That's small.
Wouldn't bother me. What is it? I don't remember what the size of mine is. I'll have to look that up real quick.
But the post is to indicate it's for sale. It's normally €1,000 and it's on sale 300 off at 700 euros.
That's actually a really good chunk of change off.
For a display Formula wheel, yeah, it's a pretty good deal, actually. 700 euros.
Yeah, and it's 30% off. I mean, that's a big chunk. All right, so NVIDIA says they might sell you an RTX 580 or 590. That's 50. I just tend to shortcut it. All you got to do is fill out this form.
So these cards are hard to get. Like they would send them out to Micro Center and they would only get 1 or 2 per store or whatever. And so there weren't a lot of units for people to get. And so NVIDIA is trying this thing where you fill out a form and basically they'll sell to you directly. It's kind of like a lotto or something is the way I understood it.
It's probably at least a way to try to keep the farmers from buying them all up.
The idea is to get it in the hands of the end user, the gamers, right?
I don't know. I keep seeing videos about issues with them, so that's my concern.
I have 2. I don't know if I'd be buying a 5090 yet.
I'm happy with my 4070, but I always stay about a generation or so behind anyway.
I will get fairly new, but I'm still on a 39 Ti, and it's getting the job done. So I may wait till the 60 series.
So what'd you buy, Mike? Did you buy a 4090?
Yep, 4090 was $1,800.
I've yet to spend more than 400 on a graphic card.
You're probably smarter than I am, then.
Well, I mean, when I built my system in 23, I mean, I've got a 4070 16 gig. I think I spent right around 1,000.
But to Donnie's point, you can go racing with a card that's 400 or less.
Yeah, but I like eye candy.
What am I missing? Like what am I have a 3060 Ti and I don't know what I'm missing.
That's probably going to keep up with the 3090 pretty closely. I definitely need a little bit more power to run the VR.
When I run, and I'm usually about 60% GPU usage. Yeah, everything's pretty good.
Do you have all your mirrors on?
Yes, yep. Well, the graphics, I'd have to take a look at what I've got that set to. I think I just did the automatic DLI racing.
I'd guess you have a lot turned off. A lot of the stuff.
Are you running triples?
Yeah, triples.
1080s?
No.
No, 1080p, right?
1080p or 1440. Yeah.
Oh, 1080. Yeah, sorry.
But yeah. So yeah, if you wanted to push like 1440 or something, you need a little bit more power. But for triple 1080 is probably 27 inches. You're fine. Like Mike said, some of your graphics are probably down, but it'll run it just fine.
Yeah,
I'm running at 1440p's.
Big old giant monitors.
Right.
All right. Next, we have a nice looking old school wheel. This is posted on Hybrid Racing Simulations, and it's an old Momo wheel, but the rim, the actual rim section is, I guess it's either wood or fake wood.
Yeah, but the button box is nice. I mean, primo, very high end looking. to go with a very high-end wood wheel from the guys over at Hybrid Racing Simulations. They always come out with outstanding stuff, and this certainly, like I said, it looks high-end.
Yeah, it's
Look-
very cool looking.
Looking at the back of it, what is that mounting to? Or what will that mount to?
It's probably, you'd probably have to just get the Connect for whatever base you have.
I don't know what
custom
base that Connect is that if that's what you're asking.
Yeah.
Apparently, it has Bluetooth connectivity, so you don't have to hook it up to a wire.
And so the post reads, our good friend and customer Brad came to us with a vision, a heritage style steering wheel with a modern twist. We took the challenge head on and crafted something truly unique. It's built around the Momo Heritage Series Indy steering wheel.
I can't even imagine what that cost.
It's nice.
What are you racing with that?
That's a Lotus 49 wheel.
Well, I know that, but what I'm saying is, I mean, what are you racing with that? Is this guy that's holding? Is he a drifter, or what is he? What's he doing? Is he running GT7 or whatever, GTA 7, whatever that is? I don't know. It's just,
Well,
I don't know.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah,
I could
mean,
almost justify this as an oval rim because I like the fact that it has the buttons.
It's not on their site for it must be a custom one-off.
oh, they're out of what, Australia, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, .com.au.
Yeah, I've looked at they have their pedals. The pedal plates are fantastic looking. They cost a fortune to get here.
All right, this next video is from Lawrence de Sosua, and the title is "How Much Is My Rig Worth?" But if you take a look at the video, I didn't watch the video, but I'm looking at his chapters. It looks like he's taking you through an entry-level rig, a mid-level rig, or if he or the rig he'd have if he wasn't a reviewer, because he gets all kinds of free shit. And then he posts. He has a segment called "Building the Ultimate Rig." So he's kind of showing you some different ranges of prices overall that you could go.
Well, it's really about this website, David, called therightsim.com, which is basically just like PC Part Builder. So when you go to PC Part Builder and you build a computer out of parts, it gives you a nice list with pricing and so forth. This is the same idea, but it's for sim rigs. So you go in, you pick your base, you pick your wheel, you pick your pedals, you pick your rig, you pick your shifter, and then you got a nice list, basically.
And you can actually buy from there as well.
And you don't let Brad's wife see the list.
That's right. So yeah, actually, just for fun, I went through here and tried to see how much stuff that what do I have was in the list, and came close with a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'm not going to tell her what the total was.
This is exciting. I'm going to try to see what it looks like.
Are you going to build up your part list, Donnie, and see if you can see what the total is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was just wheelbase, wheel, button box, shifter, pedals, and chassis. So no monitors or anything like that. I was well over $4,000.
I always get that question on the stream. How much is your setup worth? And I usually say 16 to 18,000 for everything. But I'm just guessing in my head. I should probably go through this list too and get a number.
Does this include the PC or no?
Well,
No, doesn't include
the site.
PC.
Doesn't include.
Well, this
PC.
doesn't. Okay.
No, like I said, there's some stuff that, it didn't have it, but then what I did was I found something that was close price range. You know what I'm saying? Just to try to to end up with a dollar amount. So, like I said, it was I remember what I spent when I did all this, but then of course I've added a lot of stuff since then. So, but we're not going to tell her.
Does she listen?
Unfortunately, she does.
Oh, wow. So the website is The Right Sim, and it's pretty easy. You just start clicking away. Just go in there, take a look, start clicking away.
All right, this next wheel almost grabbed my attention, but I don't think it has enough paddles. Well, you got an it's an Asetek Sim Sports wheel, right? And the layout on the front side I really like. It's got a lot of functionality.
Yeah, this is the new Forte design. So they said what's changed, it's full aluminum upgrade. All the button switches and coders are now crafted with premium aluminum. You can actually customize your look. So like what Asetek has done, you can actually pick what color switches and stuff that you want. So yeah, pretty neat. I like the customization that Asetek has. Still the wheel shape is funky. That's all their rims. That it's just a funky shape, and I don't know if I can get past it.
Well, this one I think the wheel shape would get the job done. I really like the button layout, and it has a lot of like your trim modules, like up on the thumb side. That's the one thing that just doesn't work well on my current rim, but it doesn't have a clutch, and I would have needed that clutch last week for sure. So the analog paddles in the back.
How did they leave that off? I mean, is this their budget wheel, or their better one?
Oh,
It's
you
their
can
middle wheel.
build, yeah, but you can somewhat custom build and add different stuff to it as well.
I'd be curious if that part is addable, because this is the first time I've seen one that I'm like, I kind of want that.
This is the newest.
So I may have to go check that out later. What do we got next? I don't. I've got a big question mark on the post from OC Racing. What is it, Mike?
So he's got a video here about the newest force feedback wheel you have not heard about, and it's Mad Cat is the name of it, and it's just a very short video showing the picture of the box. It has very simple pedals, a little shifter, clamp on shifter. It looks like a Logitech setup kind of.
So what Mad Catz is, it's the generic brand for a gaming controller. So if you couldn't quite afford the actual PS remote or the Xbox, Mad Catz offered you one. Sometimes they're like clear plastic. They look goofy, but it's the generic version of what you get. So it's probably a generic Logitech.
Probably cheaper than a Logitech would be the guess.
It says $300 on the site, so whatever Logitech costs.
Yeah, it was. I mean, he kind of poking fun at this a little bit. Automatic centering function. Woo, 900 degrees of rotation. Woo, it's all the stuff that we've had for, I don't know what, 10, 12 years.
Yeah, this will be for a console player. This will be something you buy a kid, possibly, maybe, that's not quite interested in racing, but once again, I don't know.
All right, next up we've got actually another Lawrence DeSuasa video, essentially, but it's actually posted by Simucube, but they're promoting his video, promoting their stuff.
That's not weird.
It's a commercial. I mean, this was an advertisement, actually, that they were trying to sell it to me. They obviously know I'm in the market for active pedals, and they're trying to sell me one. But, I go and click on it, and, one of them is $2,400. I mean, are you kidding me? For one pedal?
Wait a second. Let's back up. Did Simucube call you? Did they send this to you? What did they do?
No, it's in my Instagram feed. And it says ad,
The algorithm is against you, Mike.
It is. Well, it's aware. Anyway, we just look at it. It's $2,400. I mean, how can they compete when Moza comes out with their $460 pedal here in the next month or so? It's going to be interesting.
You almost need to contact Moza and say, hey, will you let me try these out as an influencer? And we'll talk about it on the show. Get them to send. Well, I don't need pedals. Get them to send most of the team with pedals. I'm super happy with the sim coaches. It's one of those that ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not getting off of them.
I'll take a backup pair if they're sending us pedals. Heck, I'll try them out.
Yeah, this is true. That would have been handy last week. All right. Is this the shifter that Joe has that I'm looking at
skipped.
next?
You skipped.
Did I skip? No, I did not skip.
Yes,
I
you did.
skipped. Well, you should find me $50 then, maybe.
So we got a video here from Jaxer. This is the best mod below $50. So this is a rev bar that he's got that he's added. You run it through Sim Hub and stuff. So pretty neat. You know, when I get in the DDU, I've got all the LEDs on there. But yeah, for $50, man, it's not bad at all.
Oh, maybe you don't want a DDU, but you want the RPM lights. Is that the
Right.
idea?
Yeah. You know, back in the day, there was a company that out of, I want to say they were Australia or something, but they made shift lights for your rig, and if you know, it was looked like a shift light that you would have like in a dragster. I had one on my rig, and it just would light up, you know, when it was time to shift. They've since gone out of business because I've looked for those, but you know, again, yeah, just it's another way for immersion, and it's cheap. I mean, $50 for a rev bar.
Except he's got the rev bar on the wheel right there too.
Well, I mean, pretend that he doesn't have that on the wheel.
Every Formula wheel at least has those rev lights. Just about.
Yeah, but there's something about that LED little light strip he has. It's bright, you know. It shines out more than what you see on the display. I kind of like that feature of it.
And again, in SimHub, I mean, you can do different things. I mean, you can take it; it can do your revs. You can actually set it up to where it's like a radar. It'll light up on one side, the other side. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do with the Arduinos boards, which is what drives all of these. So, like on my DDU, my side, I've got four lights on the side of the DDU, and that's what I use for radar. So, the car on the right lights up. Car on the left, it lights up. And it's actually helped quite a bit. Just it gives you another visual clue to somebody being around you.
All right, so now we can jump to the BDH H1 SQ Sifter, which is Podium 1's, which is coming in Podium 1's exclusive color.
Ah, boy, it's beautiful. It's all black with red stripes, and pretty cool. I mean, how many sim racing manufacturers have their own version of the bazooka shifter? I mean, this is the first that I know of, but look, Podium 1 is really, came onto the scene in the last couple of years, selling these high-end rigs, and they're putting these bazookas on probably every one of them and selling them like hotcakes. So, yeah, why not have their own version?
$1,450.
And is that more than the regular silver one?
Yeah, it should be. The silver one, I don't remember being more than 1,000.
I think it was 1,200, but I remember. But yeah, that is more.
And there's no link on the YouTube channel to the site.
The link that's on the page will get you there. It's on the notes.
1,400, the silver one.
Oh, really?
Really? Dang. Ew.
They've gone up then in price, I think.
Well, I mean, I think before, was there even a U.S. distributor? You probably had to buy them from Europe, didn't you?
Yeah, you had to get them from UK. Yeah.
From UK. So at the end of the day, that's probably about once you put in conversion and freight and all that, you probably pay the same thing, if not more.
Good
It's
point.
pretty. It is absolutely beautiful. It would look great sitting right here because I've got these, they got the rid trim and everything on the rig, but it's way too much money.
It's a big footprint too. That's the other drawback to it. I mean, It's beautiful, but it's huge. Takes up a lot of space.
All right, I think we can get through the rest of them. We're pretty close on time here. But next up, we have, I guess, a wooden rig. Can you get your own wood, or is this just shipped to you and you assemble it?
It's got metal inside the wood, though, David. And so it's a little tricky.
It's got profile. It's got profile as well. I guess you just do this if you want the wood side, but it's also not very complete. Where does the chair go?
Mounts on top of the deck, looks like.
This is cool. I love that it's got the profile, the metal profile, and then you almost got wood surround around it. So you're hiding the metal with this wood, but the wood is also giving you this console kind of look, or surround, or dash, as well. So I like it.
So you think the if you're looking at when the video ends, you think that furthest back part of wood that's holding up a chair? That's way short.
Yeah, no, they got a platform built up on their page of a couple photos, so it's another 3 or 4 inches thicker.
And so that's the entire piece. That looks. This doesn't look long enough to be a
Yeah,
be a
that's
rig.
what it looks like. You'd have to get a chair that slides, I imagine, to be able to get in and out. Yeah, I'm not fitting in it. Now that I look at these photos, I'm not climbing in that thing. You'd have to have a slider.
It's different.
I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I'd prefer the wood to be black, but it looks good. Florida.
All right, and then we can wrap things up with a new shifter from Sim Coaches, and I think Donnie, you've probably been in on this too. That they've been working on one for a while.
Yes, sir. So Lawrence posted a video, or Parker Fitz and Lawrence posted a video of his new shifter. It's black. It's not aluminum. What do you think of it, David?
I have not really watched it.
It's
So
all
I
3D
can't tell you
printed.
yet.
Yeah, I mean, so I watched most of the video, but look, he's really showing off how it's designed, the design of it, how it's going to function. He talks about the switch to go from sequential to H pattern, and how the first version of the switch was just, very slight, and you could easily move the button and accidentally push it, and then he made it where it's stronger, and he put these big heavy magnets in it, and now it's got a real definitive click on the switch. And so he talks about the different designs and iterations of the switch, the internal mechanism of the shifter and so forth, and how he's doing it all on with the 3D printing plastic, but eventually they're going to do it in metal, and they're going to make everything thinner because it's metal, and it'll get smaller. And so he's really just sharing how this thing is being designed.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Mike. I didn't catch this video, so it's just used as a prototype for demonstration purposes.
Correct, right. He's kind of talking about how they go through the design of it, the different iterations, those kind of things.
But while it's 3D printed to start, he said they're going to end up doing it in aluminum, I believe.
They're probably just using the 3D print to design it, but they've got CNC machines.
Right. I take it that they're going to move this over to a CNC, and it'll be all metal. They're just designing it in plastic to get the design done.
This is likely going to be one of my next big purchases, because a couple of times we've been in the 87 car. I have not been running it in sequential mode. It just doesn't work right. And I feel like I'm losing time on restarts being stuck in sequential mode, and having it just not being able to take advantage of not having auto blip on.
Let's talk results and move on to the NASCAR iRacing Series Atlanta Friday Open. I got a P12. Pitted for the last green flag stop from fourth. Came out first. I had a 3.8 second lead over second. I had a lap car that was trying to push me. And after a little bit, He turned me as the leader with a 3.8 second lead. I got turned with only 14 to go. Oh, it was so painful. I had that race won. There were subsequent cautions that came out, and so I did work my way back up, but ran out of fuel right before the final green white checker, so I had to restart 16th on that one and made my way up to finish P12. Donnie, P10.
Yeah, P10. I was running up front most of the race. I had a little issue with our lobby person who was just all over the place. Atlanta was fun, but not fun at the same time, if that makes any sense. Definitely a lot more challenging than Daytona. A little bit more skill involved into it. But yeah, P10.
Chris Waldron, P16. The Waldron's Furniture Racing crew showed incredible resolve this weekend. After getting caught up in a wreck, we dropped all the way back to 30th with 4 minutes of damage to overcome. But the team worked tirelessly in the pits, getting the car back in shape. Thanks to their hard work, we were able to salvage a 16th place finish in our SimWraps iRacers Lounge in Premier setup Chevy Camaro. It is a true testament to the crew's resilience and determination.
All right, Chris is inspiring me.
Brad, P17.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start. Same story, different day. Ran at the top 5 almost all the race. Even led some laps late, but coming to the line, gonna have a top 5 finish. Can see the checkered flag. Nope, not gonna happen. Leader's wreck, and I get turned, and then I end up finishing 17th, sliding slowly backwards across the start finish line. So, kudos to Premier Setups. Setup was fantastic. Could do really whatever you wanted to do, but 4 races last week, and only one of them did I finish actually driving across the to take the checkered flag. Everything else I was either wrecked before coming to it, the lap ahead of it, or the checkered flag, and then just spinning backwards. So just glad to see Atlanta in the rear view.
Joe Owen got the pole position. He finished P13. John Curley, P8. Really liked the racing at this track. We had 8 cautions, which was a bit much, but overall enjoyable. I stayed in the top 15 most of the race, had good pit stops and good restarts except one. Got a slow start on the green white checker and left a gap. That's never good. We were single file on the last lap. 2 cars in front got out of line, and the guy in front of me passed him. I followed, but the guy that slid up gave me no room. I guess he thought he could side draft, but he was wrong. We touched and wrecked, but I still got 8th. I'm very happy because this gave me the second top 10 in the first 2 weeks of the season. Pretty good for me. Sunday Open, Atlanta, Donnie, DNF.
Yeah, this one was really pissed me off. I was excited to wake up at 6:30 in the morning and register for the race. The set we had was great. I ran good on Friday. I loaded my Q set for the race. I was so upset with myself. I parked it and I just left.
Q set probably would have lasted.
It was pretty squirrely in the corners, and then it was overheating pretty quick. I ran about 15 laps before I decided this wasn't going to last.
Why did it overheat?
Yeah, it shouldn't overheat.
There's no.
It was, I don't know. It just was getting hot. And the revs, it was revving pretty hard, and I couldn't keep up with the draft once I lost it, and
That's weird.
just was disappointing.
Mike, the only thing, I don't think there was anything put on. I raced Sunday morning too. I got a P10. I went for I think it was like 3 laps to go. I went for the lead. And I pushed the guy past on the outside, and then I dove underneath him and clipped the apron, and I got into him a bit. We came up the track and kind of just lost some track position and never could get it back at the end. It was a huge wreck coming to the line, but wasn't able to pass anybody coming to the line. They all crashed going across the line.
All right, moving on to COTA, Circuit of the Americas. Wednesday Open, P19. I only got up to 8X. I thought it was going to be the race to 17X, but it wasn't for me. I only got to 8. But I was one of the slowest cars out there. everyone who went by me was faster, and so I pretty much got what I deserved. P19. David, P9.
All right, yeah, I had an 8X. I was focused on racing the track, and I did short pit to get out of congestion with some lap cars that were right in front of us, and a guy behind me that I didn't really trust his patience. Every time the guy right in front of me had an inconsistent lap, and I got a little close to him, then the other guy would get close to me, and it just make me nervous. So I short pitted. I didn't hop. Well, two people in when I pitted, I would pitted from 11th, and when it cycled, I was in 9th. So some people, I guess, made mistakes, including the guy that was behind me that was making me nervous. So I was gonna try to just keep the X's really low, but an 8X at this track is I guess okay, and it actually gained me safety rating.
All right, Chris Waldron DQ'd out. The track limits on this track are stupid. Get a wheel a little on the paint, and it's 1X after 1X. Shame on iRacing for not having the track limits right. When we watch on Sunday, the cars will be all over the place. I hate this new layout. Finished P2 last year. This is stupid and no fun. Brad, P26.
Yeah, top split. So I kind of finished where I deserved. I think I qualified 23rd. Yeah, it's just look, I ran my best laps. I mean, I got down in the 137s, and guys were out there running 134s. It's just nothing you can do. So just I'm not a fan of the track in general. I like the longer layout better than this. It's just yeah, I don't know. I've said for forever that I think either the tires are broken, something's broken with this car on the road courses, because I swear I've 22 pounds of air in the tires, and it feels like there's about 90 pounds in there. The car's never in the track. It's just bouncing across the top of it. So I'm one and done. But at the end of the day, hey, I scored 5 more points here than I did at Daytona, so I'll take that as a win.
Can we talk about this? I know it's not the actual what they're going to be racing on Sunday, but what the heck? It's the cut across to get to the other side is one of the worst cut across I've ever seen as a short part of the track. Like your left, it kinks in a bit, but you basically can take it straight, but it hops so hard that if you don't hit it right, it bounces you out into the field on the other side.
It's nice and challenging. I disagree with you. I really enjoyed this format, and I think it'll be good, particularly for the TV. And the caution is for it to be a shorter lap. Everything will be closer together. Cautions won't be as long. You'll have more lap traffic to deal with. I think it's a better choice than the huge drawn out layout. And for me personally, I was able to get in a better rhythm than I did on the big.
But
track.
they're not running this layout. They're off a little bit.
It's still the same idea, though.
Same idea. They're not going to have that drop off. Tailbone crusher.
Isn't it straight? I haven't seen anything on it. Isn't it a straight drought across?
Yeah, so we're running the west layout, they're using the part of the east layout. So where we're hooking that left to go up just a little bit further, and you're going to have even a harder left-hand turn, and then just kind of a straight to get back to the other side. I'm just personally, I'm not a fan of these modern F1 layout tracks. I'm just not a fan of them. I just, let's just take a piece of flat road and we'll put some curves, and there's no reference points. There's no nothing. So for me, it's just a challenge.
I agree with David. I agree with David. It'll make Sunday more palatable, I guess.
I'm glad that you'll get before the caution comes out for the stage breaks. You're, like David was saying, you're going to get more lap traffic involved because it's only a minute 30-second lap. Like, it's basically you'll get to the back of the field easier, and there also won't be that strategy of the pitting either, because you'll go a lap down if you're not anywhere close to the front of the field.
Look,
well, do they short pit it?
Go ahead.
Do they short pit at Sonoma? Because that's even shorter than this.
With the stage breaks, that took all that out of it. I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah, that never happens. Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, I don't like this track. NASCAR shouldn't be at this track. We might as well be on a parking lot with orange cones.
Well, this is the third year of the thing, so there is some question whether or not we'll be back next year.
Well, dude, they're giving that up because they can't do 2 races in the Texas track is why they're doing the one in Coda, right? So what isn't that an SMI track?
Yes, it's an
So-
SMI track.
What else are they going to put in that space if they can't run Coda? Are they going to put the Texas track back, or
I'd rather go to Texas twice than go to Coda.
But Texas is the other team, or Texas is the other owner, isn't it?
It's all SMI.
They're both the same. Okay.
And that little crossover that Greg was complaining about, it's like a chicane, but you can kind of drive straight through it. But if you do, then you might not make the next turn. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
you just have
It's
to,
super technical.
you have to get the right spot where you hit the braking point and hope the suspension lands the right way to get it to go around it. If you want to take it if you cut it straight, you're going to have the hop. If you kind of go in a little bit, you won't have the hop, but trying to get the angle on that left-hander is the harder part of it.
But that left-hander is not the most critical left-hander because it goes into a short shoot. So you can almost I almost let that not be my most important exit.
But it is an important exit because it's a braking zone at the next one that's a passing zone. You want to get out of that corner so you can get down to first gear and pass somebody on the inside to get into that sharp chicane.
All right, Greg, tell us about your result for Wednesday.
Well, what did I finish? 11th, I think. Yeah. So it was eventful. I got taken out by a guy that was trying to keep me behind him after chasing him down, and he lit the tires off the corner when I was passing him on the inside, and he turned into my back corner, and I ended up in the wall in the front straight away. Said I had a minute 5 worth of damage when I went down pit road. Car felt fine. I don't know if that affected anything, but a minute 5 of damage is what. But yeah, I got what I could. We'll try again Friday night.
Okay, Donnie, P25.
Yeah, this was all my fault. I was targeting a 16th to 18th, but I spun twice midway, then later on through for a 25th place. Unfortunately, the 16th to 18th, where I was supposed to finish, would have gave me more points than Daytona. This one, finishing P25, was 2 less points. So now I feel obligated to wake up early on Sunday and clickety-clack through this room and annoy the wife and give it another go.
One and done. I didn't do one and done. I ran today. I don't know why. I'm a glutton for punishment, but I thought I could do better in my 19th last night. So I got a P13. Started 15th, got to 10th by the end of lap 1, 8th by the end of lap 2, and then got as high as P4 as the pit stop cycled. But I did end up spinning twice on my own, which put me back to finishing P13. Let's talk other racing. Draftmaster Kyle, P1. Started P8, and I just drove around on the top lane. Lap 8, snaked my way through the big one and fall back 1.4 from the lead pack. Just staying in the tire tracks, I was able to stuck back up to the lead pack of 8 trucks. Made moves when I could. 2 to go, I jumped to the third lane and just held it to the floor. Coming to turn 3, a lapper was way off the pace, and he chose to stay in the middle, allowing me to ride the top lane and get around 2 other lower lanes. I was able to drop to the front of the bottom line and just watch out the mirror the last lap. Nice to have a win in 2025. It's been over a year since my last oval win. Nice. A open, John Curley, P14, started 19th, could not keep the car under control. Handled like a log wagon. Too tight, then too loose, then too tight, and too loose, and on and on. Had a good group in the lobby that always helps, but I was just too slow. Some races, that's just the way it goes. We just suck it up and move on to the next one and chase the win. Brad, P11.
Yeah, GTD at Le Mans. Top split started next to last. Managed to get lucky with a few guys, taking themselves out, but I was just way off pace. Big track, and when you're 3 and 4 seconds off the pace, it's just hard. Really struggled trying to find the balance with the vet. The Corvette was just really squirrely in all the high speed corners, like through Porsche curves and stuff. Um, I managed to finish the race with the 0x, which was fine. Just this was just one of those. I need to get a weekend. So yeah, I don't know what we're gonna do for when it comes to us running the 24 hours this year. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I don't know if I'm going to do the vet or not. It's just I could not get a handle on the car through all the high speed corners.
All right, William, Conspit Endurance, P12.
Yeah, Brad, try the Acura. Let me know how you like it there.
All right.
Yeah, we did the Constant Endurance 6 hour at Le Mans. It was my first time driving a GTP in an official session. Jumped in the race with a total of about 20 laps ever, so that was an adventure. I was really just trying not to kill the car. I only got us damaged once, so I think it was a good outing. Unfortunately, though, we had a mishap about 5 hours in. Guy lost control and got us about 12 minutes of damage, so we ended up finishing P12. So wasn't bad.
Okay, and then on to Grassroots Racing League, P8.
Yep. We were trying to run some tracks we hadn't done in the previous season. So we were at Portimao, Algarve, whichever one you want to call it. I do not understand this track. I don't get it. I can't run it. I was really about a second off pace all night, finished P8. Kind of reminds me of like Interlagos, those tracks that are made for like a Formula One car. And I just struggle at these places. Maybe I'll figure it out eventually, but it wasn't last night or Tuesday night.
I enjoy this track, but I don't enjoy it in the rain. And IMSA's there this week in the rain, and it's absolutely miserable because it's just a wet track. There's not a whole lot of rain, but yeah, there's a couple corners where they're blind right-handers, and it is tough. It's just really hard to find the turn-in point and then to manage your braking points. But I'm not quick there either, but I do like the track because it's definitely a challenge.
All right, final thoughts, David Hall.
Looking forward to running Monza with Greg and Tom. We're squeezing 3 people into 4 hours, but why not? Because we all want to put a few laps in.
All right, Greg Hectus, final thought.
We want points since I started getting points last week and you started getting points, so I got to try and at least be there, right? I think I'm gonna, like Tom said too. I think after that, the first IndyCar race this week for. So I'm going to be running that around 9 o'clock on Saturday night after we get done doing our endurance race for the Mech Series with the majors. Normally I'm pretty excited about these weeks about the road course, but COTA just doesn't seem to tickle my fancy for some reason. I can get speed there. I don't know. Maybe it's just an iRacing lull still.
All right, and Brad Wren, final thought.
Just like David and Greg. So Justin and I are going to run Mech tomorrow at Monza. So looking forward to that. We did not get to make a start the season opener at Silverstone because I had no power, unfortunately. So looking to try to get a little recovery there. It's always a good time running road courses with Justin, and we have a lot of nice chit chat over the Discord. So just looking forward to that. Be happy next week to get back to some actual oval track racing with NIS. Is not a huge fan of Phoenix, but it is definitely better than Daytona, Atlanta, and COTA. So I will take it as a win.
All right, Donnie Spiker, final thought.
Yeah, we got IndyCar starting this week. I will be running the session with Greg there. That's the only opportunity I'll get. While running some laps this week, I noticed how terrible my FOV was. Corrected it. Realized I need a DDU, so I'll be in the market for that. Hit Brad up for some info on that, and I sold cleared 150 on a figure today. So I think I'm going to dip into my other hobbies budget and buy a DDU that way. That way I don't have to care about it.
Just get it done. All right, and William Westbrook, final thought.
Well, so I got a stream deck this week. So I'm finishing setting that up. I know I put it in the group chat, but I'm thinking about actually replacing my Precision Sim Pro panel. I like the look of it, but the Stream Deck's just so much more functional. So I don't know. I'll play with both of them and see how it goes. And earlier, like Mike said, we'd love to see you guys active in the Discord. I know I'm in there a lot, just kind of trying to chat. So yeah, you guys come on, please. Well, like I said, it might take me a minute to reply because I'm in a lot of Discords and the sound doesn't always get my attention. But that's just this past week we've had a lot of good discussion in there, so we love to see everybody in there.
What are you doing for mounting on the Stream Deck?
It'll be 3D printed. I haven't figured it out yet. I have not had a lot of luck finding a pre-made mounting solution that fits what I've got, so I might be having to design it myself. We'll see.
I don't know what kind you bought. SimSport Gadget's got quite a few options.
Yeah, I bought the XL one. I haven't gotten through all the SimSports stuff yet. If I end up having to go buy one.
Okay.
All right, my final thoughts. I took some time off, got out of town. Quick trip up to the wineries around Cottonwood and Sedona, Arizona, and no internet on my phone. It's like no cell service, and so it was nice just to unplug and disconnect and get away from the computer a little bit and the phone. But I'm refreshed. I'm back ready to race, and I'm chomping at the bit, and so we'll, it's too bad it's Coda. It's not my best track. So I'm kind of excited for Phoenix. But with that, we'll see you on the track later.